So today I'm going to go over exactly how we ended up generating an extra $66,000 in revenue for TriRig in just about 4 months, which is 50% increase in their organic revenue with just a 25% increase in their traffic, simply by focusing on optimizing just the pages that mattered the most. So when these guys came to me, there was a few issues they were looking to solve. First, they just didn't have a cohesive SEO strategy. They didn't really know where to start and what to do on their website to drive more organic traffic. And diving into the audit that I did for them, this became pretty clear pretty quickly. They had pretty poor SEO fundamentals, missing page titles and meta descriptions, lack of schema markup on different pages, and just poorly optimized product pages that didn't really target the way users were searching for the products they were selling. They also had a pretty big backlog of underutilized blog content because the owner of this brand bought it from the person who started it, and the person who started it had a habit of writing a lot of reviews for different products, and he built up quite the catalog, probably 500 or so different posts. So there's a lot of content on the website that when they migrated it to Shopify, just, the formatting wasn't great, and, the pages just weren't ranking anymore. So they had a lot of organic traffic, migrated to Shopify, and lost a lot of that organic traffic simply because they didn't do a good job of transferring the blog content over. So there's a pretty big untapped potential here. And so yeah, the way we started was, again, just an in-depth SEO audit, figuring out kind of where the website lies, and we built a strategy unique to them that involved, optimizing these product and category pages that had high revenue potential, figuring out what to do with all this extra blog content. And then we moved on to identifying the top 20 key tipping point pages. So what this means is we found the highest converting product and collection pages that were already ranking between the 5th and the 9th position on the search results page. So what this does is it allows us to find pages that require just a little bit of work to get above the 5th position. And when you go from kind of the bottom half of the first page to the top half of the first page, you see very big click-through rate increases, and therefore you drive, with a higher click-through rate, you obviously drive more traffic to the pages, and assuming the conversion rate stays the same, you obviously drive more organic revenue. So we identified those top 20-ish pages for them and began optimizing them by doing keyword research. And now this is key. We figured out that a lot of the product pages they had the name of the product, the name that they gave the product that they were selling, but that wasn't necessarily the way people were searching for that product. So in this company's case, they have this product called the Alpha 1 arrow bar, for lack of a better term, and it's called the Alpha 1, and that's all the H1 said. But since we want to rank for non-branded terms, obviously, for this, it was ranking perfectly well for Alpha 1 for those who are aware of TriRig's brand, but other people just searching arrow bars for triathlon weren't seeing this page because it was ranking, I don't remember exactly, but it was ranking towards the bottom of the page, maybe 9th, 8th, or 9th position, something like this. And so simply by figuring out exactly the way people were actually searching for the product they were selling and including that in the H1 and the page title and whatnot. So instead of just Alpha 1, it says Alpha 1 arrow bars, right? We're able to pretty easily move up in the rankings and get onto that first half of the search results, first page of the search results, and just drive a lot more traffic. And so we did that for the top 20 tipping point pages that we discovered. And in fact, we did a little bit more. It was actually 27 pages that we optimized the on-page content, and we even went a little bit further with just optimizing page titles and meta descriptions. We did that for the top 60-ish pages. And so, yeah, that alone did a lot of driving of the extra organic revenue. And then when it came to blog content, essentially there was a lot, like I said, you can see here there's over 550 different blogs. A lot weren't super relevant, reviewing products that didn't exist anymore, or there was a lot of race recaps from 2012, like the Ironman World Championships from 2012, which obviously isn't very relevant anymore. So we figured out which posts are still relevant, and this is just the first 10 that we did. But yeah, figured out which posts were relevant, optimized those to get those ranking a little bit better, and that helped to drive even more blog traffic and even more revenue from the blog. So yeah, that was pretty much the gist of the strategy. Figured out the top tipping point pages that were high converting, put a lot of work into those, revitalized old blog posts to get them to rank higher and drive more traffic to those blog posts, which we then used internal linking to drive those people to product pages. And we also launched a new blog series to attract beginner triathletes by writing blogs about answering questions that beginner triathletes would have. And even though this is a pretty high ticket item with products ranging between like $500 and $2,000, triathletes tend to be a very affluent demographic. So it made sense to actually get in front of beginner triathletes, even though these products weren't necessarily for complete beginners. So we launched a whole new Triathlon 101 blog series, essentially. Yeah, again, that's kind of the gist. And the results from all that was, like I said, a 25% increase in organic traffic. And I can show you the analytics here to prove that over the time frame that we worked with them from March to mid-July, and a 50% increase in total revenue from organic. So yeah, and then actually, if we look at just the blog posts as well, there was a 16% increase in the blog sessions, which isn't all that much, but because we focused on the blogs that would actually drive revenue, which there weren't too many of, we were able to really see a big increase in revenue from the blog posts, which is a small percentage of the total increase that we saw, but still set them off on the right track for growing that even more. Yeah, so the reason this worked is because we prioritized the pages that we worked on were only the pages that were actually going to drive more revenue. We didn't focus on pages that, we didn't focus on the water bottle pages that they have or the low ticket items, right? We focused on their bread and butter products, got those ranking above the first, like in the first half of the first page of the results page. And yeah, by focusing just on those pages, we were able to get an outsized return on the work that we did. And so yeah, this is a pretty common situation that I see a lot of e-commerce businesses be in, where they have a small percentage of pages that just put a little bit of work into. They could really drive a lot more organic revenue from their e-commerce site. So if you think you might be in that situation and want to talk to me a little bit about it, you can book a call with me pretty much on any page on my website, and we can chat about whether you're a good fit for the framework that we use for these types of businesses that we find. All right, that's it. Have a nice day.